Article 1. Name and the Treaty of the Union. Article 2. Administration or the establishment of the new state. Article 2a. Sikkim to be associated with the Union. Repealed. Article 3. Formation of the new state and the alternation of areas, boundary or names of the existing state. Article 4. Law made under the Article 2 and 3 to provide for the amendment of the first and the fourth schedule and the supplemental and incidental and the consequential matters. Citizenship. Article 5. The citizenship at the commencement of the Constitution. Article 6. The right of the citizenship of the certain person who have the migrate to India from Pakistan. Article 7. Rights of the citizenship of the certain migrants to Pakistan. Article 8. The rights of the citizenship of the certain person of India origin residing outside India. Article 9. A person voluntarily acquiring the citizenship of the foreign state not to be the citizenship of the foreign state not to be a citizen. Article 10. The constituents of the right of citizenship, Parliament to the regulate the rights of the citizenship by the law. Article 11. Fundamental rights. Article 12, definition of state. Article 12, definition of state. Article 13, laws inconsistent with a derogation of the fundamental rights. Article 13, laws inconsistent with or in derogation of the fundamental rights. Article 14, equality before law. Article 14, equality before law. Article 15, prohibition of the discrimination on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Article 15, prohibition of the discrimination on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Article 16, the equality of opportunity in the matter of the public employment. Article 16, the equality of opportunity in matters of the public employment. Article 17, abolition of untouchability. Abolition of untouchability. Article 17. Article 18, abolition of the titles. Article 18, abolition of titles. Article 19, protection of the certain rights regarding the freedom of speech. Article 19, protection of the certain rights regarding the freedom of speech. Article 20, protection in respect of the conviction for the offense. Article 20, uh, protection in respect of the conviction for offense. Article 21, protection of life and personal liberty. Article 21, protection of life and personal liberty. Article 21, protection of life and personal liberty. Article 21A, right to elementary education. Article 21A, right to elementary education. Article 22, protection against the arrest and detention in the certain case. Article 22, protection against arrest and detention in certain case. Article 23, prohibits of the traffic in human beings and the forced labor. Article 23, prohibition of the traffic in human beings and forced labor. Article 24, prohibition of the employment of children in the factories, etc. Article 23 हो गया. Article 24, prohibition of the employment of the children in the factories, etc. Article 25, freedom of the conscience and free profession, practice, and the propagation of the religion. Article 25. Article 25, freedom of conscience and free protection, profession, practice, and the propagation of religion. Article 26, freedom to manage the religious affair. Article 26, freedom to manage religious affair. Article 27, freedom as to payment of the tax for the promotion of any particular religion. Article 27, freedom as to payment to the taxes for the promotion of any particular religion. Article 28, freedom as to attendance at the religious instruction or the religious worship in the certain educational institution. Article 29, protection of the interest of the minorities, protection arrest interest of the minorities. Article 30, right to minorities to establish and the administration educational institution. Article 31, compulsory acquisition of property. Article 31A, saving of the laws providing for the acquisition of estates. Article 31B, validation of the certain acts and the regulation. Article 31C, saving of the laws giving effect to the certain directive principles. Article 31D, saving of the laws in the respect of the anti-national activities. Article 31D, saving of the laws in the respect of the anti-national activities. Article 32, remedies for the enforcement of the fundamental rights in including writs. Article 32, remedies for the enforcement of the fundamental rights including writs. Article 32A, constitutional validity of the state's law नहीं निकले हैं, बाहर पढ़ रहे हैं. Article 33, power of the Parliament to modify the fundamental rights in the certain application to force. Article 34, restriction on the fundamental rights while the martial law in the force in the any areas. Article 35, legislation to give effect to some of the provision of the fundamental rights. आपका फंडामेंटल राइट्स और यूनियन एंड इट्स टेरिटरी सिटीजनशिप और फंडामेंटल राइट्स 3 हो चुका है. बाकी हम कल देखेंगे. आज के लिए हैव अ नाइस डे, गुड नाइट.